and I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the vouchers are approved. The next item are community comments. Is anyone signed up for community comments?
I didn't see anything there.
All right, on to administrative reports.
All right, we just want to let everybody know that at the high school, as I'm sure the other buildings, everybody's working extremely hard, really trying to reach kids that we think might be slipping through the cracks and offering special assistance and help in any way that we can. So a lot of that type of work going on. Our first sporting events have been going on. Everything's been going as great as we could possibly hope. So thumbs up in that situation. District has been doing a nice little thing with all staff in all the buildings for the 12 days of Christmas. It's been a huge morale booster, and that's been a huge positive thing in all the buildings. So special thanks to Becky Schmidt and the office staff who put that together. It's been a blast. We've been in the process of rescheduling a number of events, ACT practices, National Honor Society inductions. Those things will be rolling out here after Christmas break. So we're starting to get things back in order at the high school. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just like Mr. Gould said, things are cruising along at the middle school. We're still happy with the percentage of kids that are participating, and the staff is working really hard. We do have a couple kids that we've brought in to get some extra help as we get ready for break. We've polled our students, and we know which students we're expecting to return full and which ones have decided that they're going to stay back. And I think in my building it was 8 or 9 that had asked to stay back till the semester change. At the middle school, we normally, right after break, when we get back in January, have our Holocaust speaker, Mr. Tim Scott, that comes in. And unfortunately, we had to move that, and we're hoping we're able to get it in this spring. We really want to do it, and if I have to, I think we'll find a place that we could do it, maybe in the auditorium, where we could spread out, and we're hoping that by spring that maybe that's a possibility. We've had him for 24 straight years. He's the one speaker we've consistently brought in because he's amazing. When we get back, we're setting up some goal setting for the middle school. One of the directions that we really wanted to take was to get kids to take some more ownership of where they're going and what they want to accomplish. And so we're going to be setting up our mid-year goal setting process right when we get back. First things first, though, would be reteaching all our students. We go through our PBIS expectations. We have a COVID precaution lessons that we review with kids and some technology expectations, and we'll be doing those in our Warrior Time advisories, and then moving right into our goal setting process. And then, a lot of the typical things that we do with the mid-year, like mid-year benchmarking and reading and math and those scores, and getting ready to, and excited to have the kids coming back in January 4th. Any questions?
Thanks.
Okay, as everybody is stating, the remote learning is going great. The teachers have done a fantastic job. We're very, very excited to get back in in-person learning after the first of the year. Dr. Derfler had surveyed our community, and at the elementary school at the present time we have 8 families that would like to stay remote for after the holiday, and our Calvert families will have to make a decision as well. Right now we have 15 Calvert families, but they're separate from the remote learners. We have been communicating with them, and they know that they will need to make a decision as well before the second semester begins. So that's all. Thank you.
Well, pleased to report that our staff is holding another IEP workshop. That's tomorrow evening. Each one of these has drawn, I believe, double digits attendance, and for a staff of 17, that's good. You're getting near half your staff. It's also a time where, as you know, in my report I listed, last year, there was roughly 275 IEP meetings. This year, with the changes in learning models and a lot of the adjustments that we've done, I expect that number to be, well over 275. So it is a testament to, I think, the flexibility, also the communication, and the ability of our special ed case managers to accomplish a lot in a small amount of time, and in some cases on the fly in terms of adjusting to learning models this year in closures. So thank you for that. There were some behavior intervention plan trainings offered through CISA, and we had staff from elementary, intermediate, and high school attend a 3-part training on behavior intervention plans. And one of the important things that came out of that as well was that our speech language pathologist and cross-categorical teacher at the intermediate school has been able to take some information from that training and make small cards with effective interventions so that staff can share those cards when and where appropriate and have really a Cliff Notes version of a behavior intervention plan instead of a 3 or 4 page sheet for people to work on. So excited about that. So just looking forward into our IEP workshop tomorrow. You're always welcome to come by and say hello to a wonderful group of individuals who are working hard trying to keep us in legal compliance with IDEA.
Thank you.
And I have one item to report. It's just an update on the learning transition plan, the matrix. On the back side of the actual matrix you see in your folder, just since Wednesday of last week, which was day 1 of this window, and that window runs through the 29th of January next week. Not next week, but the week, next week, Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. We've got 163 cases in Polk County and 5 in the district. Thus far, 5 days in, 9 days to go. So we'll see where we stand. We make that determination on the 30th, and then whatever we choose to do based on the matrix starts on January 4th. It's looking as if very strong possibility that we will be face-to-face, elementary, intermediate, probably 99.9% chance that that's happening, and high school, middle school, it'll be either face-to-face or hybrid based on the numbers as we see them right now. So any questions for me or the other administrator on their reports?
All right, the next report would be the Pupil Non-Discrimination and Educational Equity Report.
Thank you. This is a summary that's given each year that we're required to complete to the DPI, a non-discrimination and educational equity report. And so that really just identifies the number of complaints in the areas of sex, race, disability, religion, sexual orientation, national origin, ancestry, creed, and or pregnancy, marital, or parental status. That report is due February 26th. It has already been submitted to DPI. And so the purpose of this information here is just for you to review and see the summarization. There were only one allegation of discrimination or harassment in any of these areas. It was in the area of race, and that allegation or complaint was resolved informally. No other complaints of discrimination or harassment are noted in the report. And so that is this year's Pupil Non-Discrimination District Summary and Report.
So does that mean that it was made by a pupil, about a pupil, or do we not know if it was about a pupil or about?
It was made by a parent of a pupil, yes.
Okay. Because of the harassment from, do we know if it's from another pupil or from a
Yes,
staff member? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Other questions?
And you said it was resolved.
Right, yep, the report notifies here that it was resolved informally, which means it didn't trigger an investigation or any sort of, further procedure or note.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. There is one informational item on the agenda tonight, and that is the school board election for this April.
Okay, we have an election for school board on April 6th of 2021. There are 2 at-large positions, and they would be for incumbent board members Keith Anderson and Shar Glenna. The time by which a person would need to declare their candidacy by turning in their paperwork in the district office is on Tuesday, the 5th of January by 5 p.m. And after that, it would be late, so they would not be a candidate. So Tuesday, January 5th at 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Now we are on to action items. The first action item on the agenda tonight are donations to the district.
Okay, pleased to report once again, we have a very generous community. The Amery Knights of Columbus and the Amery Lions Club work with the district to collect and distribute winter clothing to our families in need, and apparently this week it's going to begin to amp up, and we are actually going to do winter now, full-fledged. We have 44 families that were served, 102 children received clothing, 355 items were distributed, including coats and snow pants and boots and gloves and hats and scarves. In addition to that donation, we would like to thank those who donated new and used items. The following organizations and individuals: Walmart, Quick Trip, Carol, and I defy someone to tell me how to pronounce that last name, so I'm going to go ahead with Chmielewski. I'm probably saying it wrong, and I'm sorry. Don Waldbillig, Ruth Mugerauer, Amery Lions Club, Amery Knights of Columbus, and an anonymous donor. So those, I believe, they are the end of the donations, and you'll need to take an action to formally accept those donations.
I'll make a motion, we accept the donations to the district with a big thank you to all those groups and individuals.
I'll second.
Yes, thank you very much.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the donations to the district are approved, and the next action item is presented by Josh Gould for early graduation requests.
Okay, today I have 14 requests for early graduation. All of these students have met the standards or will by the end of second term, and I would recommend that they are ready for graduation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the early graduation requests.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Thank you.
opposed? Okay, the early graduation requests are approved.
Their
and-
biggest hesitation is they're going to miss Mr. Gould. No?
Okay. The next action item is presented by Dr. Dörfler for the EPSLA policy, and you'll have to,
All right, the
Let everyone
fund
know
known
that-
as the Employee Paid Sick Leave Act is coming to an end. The EPSLA, as we've been fondly calling it in the district office since March, expires on December 31st. And what EPSLA has allowed in the district via policy adopted by the board back in July or August, can't remember exactly when, was this, that an employee who had to miss work due to an EPSLA-related reason, which typically has been either they're COVID positive, they need to care for a family member that's COVID positive, or they don't have childcare because of a COVID reason, they were paid by the district through EPSLA for the first 10 days that they were gone. And then after those 10 days, if they had to go into quarantine for a second or a third time, and that has happened, that they would continue to be paid by the district their full wage during their period of absence. And if the truth be told, we now have many staff who have not been able to be here, but they haven't been at home, in some cases with their feet up. They've been teaching from home. In some cases, they've been too sick to teach, and that hasn't happened then. So when that goes away on the 31st, the board needs to make a decision as to how we want to proceed with our employees. We've had 822 days used for EPSLA since September 1st. And I'm here to tell you on January 4th, it's not going to continue to be 822. It's going to continue to happen. We're going to have quarantine. So the reauthored policy that you see on the screen or in front of you There are two documents. We have a employee document for our certified staff and for our support staff. If you go to, in the first document, we're looking at page 7, 8, page 8, where you see yellow. We've reauthored some of the language, got rid of the date, obviously, titled it COVID leave, and then defined it as two forms of COVID leave, EPSALA, and then second district COVID leave. And Twyla and the district office has been coding these separately all along. They have been paid in full as if they were here. The coding is the only thing that was different. So the clause that you need to make note of is number 2, letter B. It says, require COVID leave on January 1, 2021, or thereafter, after the EPSLA Act has expired. What that means is we as a district would continue to pay them. No, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. The drawback of not doing that would be twofold in my mind. Well, threefold. I think it would be a tremendous hit to our morale. Second, you're going to ask staff who have faithfully worked here and banked their PLT or their sick days, which they do get paid out in retirement, and force them to use those days. And the third, we're going to create a pretty significant sub shortage if we don't compensate these people for reasons well beyond their control. Literally, it has been, you need to go home, you are in quarantine because you had positive contact with, name your kid or name your staff person. In my mind, it would be very unfair to not support them by paying them while they're gone, because they don't stop working when they leave, I could tell you that. So my recommendation would be for you to adopt the changes in the certified and in the support staff handbooks. It's the exact same verbiage. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Same wordage in the support staff?
I think there's one clause that's different, and it's because it's sports staff. I think there wasn't there one change, Becky?
The last sentence in the support staff?
The last sentence that's crossed out is the change? Is that what you're making reference to?
The very last sentence that's not crossed out.
That's not crossed out. Okay, and that states, if a school closure becomes necessary, the Board of Education will determine how payroll will be executed for support staff in the same way that we had to determine that when we sent people into furlough. We'll have to make a decision. Certified staff work under a contract, so it's cleaner and easier in that regard, whereas support staff as hourly, it makes it a little more difficult.
But the leave is, all the language is exactly the same.
All the language is the same. They would not have to, because there are some staff that haven't been here long enough to accumulate enough PLT to cover their absence. If in fact they're required to use the PLT that they have remaining, go the rest of it without pay, they're going to find a new job. And we value our support staff far more than that. And frankly, there are certified staff that don't have the luxury of a lot of days as well. If you're a staff person here in your 5th or 6th year, and you've used maternity leave once or twice, you might very well be down to bare minimum on days too. So we have those cases here. It was made very clear to me and to Twyla that this will not be expanded, even with the federal stimulus package that was just agreed upon. It is done. EPSLA is done.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the changes as listed in the support staff and certified staff compensation and benefits.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the changes are approved for the policy. And the last action item on today's agenda, personnel action.
Okay, we have a new hire in bus driving, Sally Hanks, retirement for, thank you, was right. Gary Bader, middle school custodian, furlough, an additional furlough of Carolyn Grandal, and she'll be back on the 4th. And then a termination of employee Honesty Hool and Clubhouse. So you would need to take action on those.
Is our retirement taking effect immediately, or is that
End of the year,
End of the school year?
end of the school year.
End of the school year, okay.
Yeah, I suppose at this time of year, I shouldn't say end of the year anymore. End of the school year.
Okay.
It's that, or Tom's going to have to do custodial.
We appreciate our custodians also, so it's great to
I'll
have
make a
them.
motion, we approve the personnel items as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, that concludes open session, so I will take a motion to go into closed session to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility in order to take personnel action pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Sub 1, Sub C.
I'll move to do
Is there a
that.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we're in